According to the thumbnail, it says I hate cars, but I actually do like cars. This may not look like my old little 1 Series, which is a coupe BMW sports car that I had spent thousands of dollars on to make fast, and I was like, this thing has 180,000 miles, and it might not be the best idea to drive a lot. So I sold it, and I got this car. Just basically a bigger Supra. It has a B58 engine, which is the same engine that the Supra has. Yes, a Toyota Supra has a BMW engine. And there's a lot of cool things. I don't want to bore you. There's a bunch of videos talking about the specs and stuff like that about this car. But the main reason why I got this car is because whenever my old car, my little 1 Series was down, I would drive my mom's car, and I was like, ooh, this is so comfortable. I can kind of whip it around and carry all my friends and get the groceries and put the golf clubs in the back. Like, I wanted that. So I got this, which is a sportier version, BMW version, cooler version on my mom's car. There are a lot of cool things about this car, and I'll give you a quick show around of what I really do like about the car. And then we're gonna do some things to it. I've done 2 things to it, which are the rims and then the mirror caps are the only things I've touched, because I kind of want to document every little thing that I do with this car. I know it's a mom car. I really could have documented my last car, which was a big project. I wouldn't say a huge project, but there was a lot of things done to that other car. I'll throw in a clip of what it did back when I owned it. But we're on to bigger and better things. Literally, because this thing is about 1,000 pounds more than my last car. It's better because it has less miles and it's 10 years newer, so yeah. So starting off with the front grille, this little crack right here actually came with the car, which also cracked this plastic trim. I wasn't too bothered by it. I got this car, it was probably the cheapest with the amount of miles it has in Texas. So I was like, you know what? I can live with this. Within about a month of owning this car, I actually got into a little fender bender. I went to Sam's Club, went to go buy a pack of Celsius. Just a pack of Celsius. Hold on. A pack of Celsius. The lady in front of me was turning onto the access road, and so I'm like, all right, bet. Let me look left where all the traffic was coming to see if there's any cars oncoming. As I'm inching forward, no foot on the gas or the brake, just kind of inching forward. The lady didn't go all the way, so I end up rear-ending her. Got a couple of boo-boos, you know. Cracked this thing right here. This is a little messed up, but her car was really fine. And she went ahead and did an insurance claim. So I was a little upset, told her I'd give her cash, but we live and we learn. Coming on to the wheels, these are aftermarket. These are Rohana, I believe, like RFX 11, I think. Yeah, I just wanted different rims. So many bugs. Didn't think I was gonna be a bronze person, but this actually came out pretty nice. There's a big gap, which I kind of wanna lower it a little bit. Cool end brakes. You can ask one of my friends. We got into a near accident, and the brakes did their job. It's a good part on BMW. Onto the same area, front half portion of the car, I did get these mirror caps put on, which are like more sporty. I'll throw in a picture of what they used to look like. Not a huge fan of it, so this one looks much better. It's a little dirty, and you go to a car wash. It's pretty cool. My neighbors just got home. Now, one thing I did not know that I needed were comfort access doors. Like, see, comfort access. So I just walk up to my car, kind of, Now, one of the last cool things that I really do love about this car this is so cool. Space. But as you can see, there are a lot of cool things I could talk about with this car. It has Apple CarPlay, wireless Apple CarPlay, which I did not know was like a thing that not a lot of people have. Apple CarPlay is lit. Because my last car just used an aux cord because it didn't even have a screen, but which I do love because it's like very simple. I do miss driving a manual car. Yeah, it has like lane departure assistance, so like it tells you if cars are coming. feel like a lot of y'all watching this have newer cars. Doesn't have to be a BMW. It could be a Hyundai, and they have a bunch of safety features that I just didn't have. The white interior is not my favorite, but it's growing on me. It's a little change of scene. I mean, I do live in Texas, so black leather seats are like sitting on the stove. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move this car into the garage because I am gonna install some downpipe because this car is a little quiet. I mean, it's actually kind of loud for what it is. But I'm gonna put it in the garage so it can cool down, so I can work on a car in like 2 hours or so. And yeah. The audio might sound a little different. I did switch to my shotgun mic. This is my ghetto setup for jack stands. Well, it's not really jack stands, but I guess like a platform. I have two 2x4s kind of like at the base. And then on top of that, we have leftover flooring material. Like 3 of them, 3 pieces of wood that are like probably a 1/4 inch thick. We have like an 1.5 inch, 2 inch thick piece of cement, and then a piece of wood that I just found that happened to be like protection piece whenever you buy like a desk in a box to assemble. I don't know. It raised it up about like a good 3 to 4 inches, so hopefully that'll give us enough clearance because this thing's already high enough. But I just wanted to make sure I have arm space to wiggle and stuff, you know. Yeah, I'll let this thing cool down, and then we'll come back whenever we start installing the downpipe. I'm honestly not sure if this fan will help with cooling, but anything helps, right? I think, should we put it underneath? Should we put it up top? I feel like this will melt if we put it up top. You know, we'll just have this to have constant airflow in the garage, because I don't know what I'm doing. Here is the downpipe I'm going to be installing. There's like nothing in there, straight through, completely catless. I've been using these 2 fans behind me, right there and over there, to kind of cool off the engine for the last like 1.5 hours. I think the car's pretty cool. I can touch components in the car without burning my fingers. I will not bore y'all with installing this. I barely know what I'm doing, but it's just a downpipe. Yeah, I will come back, since I'm not gonna bore y'all. I'm gonna come back, and once the original downpipe is off, I'll go ahead and kind of compare the two just to show you side by side. And then I'll install this, and then we'll turn the car on, and the car will be louder. So yeah. All right, so here's the original cat. You know, coming from an N54, which is like BMW's like most popular engine back in like the late 2000s, early 2010s. That thing had 2 downpipes, so there was 2 turbos. Basically, from the turbos, they go into the exhaust. And right before the exhaust is the downpipe, technically part of the exhaust. Basically keeps emissions and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. That was I would give this one, if 10 was hard and 1 was easy, I would give it maybe like a 6. If N54 downpipes were a 10 out of 10 when it comes to removing downpipes, now I'll give it like an 8 out of 10. This is like a 5 out of 10. But got that out. Now we're gonna install this one, which I mean, this one weighs like literally 1/3 of what this weighs. This thing is very heavy. This thing, I can hold it with one hand very easily. This one is very heavy. I'd say maybe like 20 pounds, 15 pounds lighter. So we're gonna install this, and then after that, probably flash the car, which I won't show. That's gonna be boring. And then we'll just turn the car on and then hear the cool noises.
2 days later.
It is very hot outside. It's been 2 days. I just finished playing 18 holes of golf in 100-degree weather. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. Just ate. The reason why it's been 2 days since the last clip that you saw is because I was missing this, which is a trickle charger, which is important when you're trying to do your initial, call it an install to your car's computer. No, I was missing this, which is a gasket that costs $30. That's usually recommended to change whenever you're swapping
parts. Usually whenever you work on cars, there are a lot of parts that, you know, after you go with a couple thousand miles on, or if you just torque something down, it's made of aluminum, it's usually recommended to swap those parts out. This is one of them, and the BMW near me, I ordered it like, what, it's today, Friday? On Wednesday night, and it got here Friday morning, so pretty quick. Everyone else, all the websites were taking like 4 to 5 days for the quickest shipping, and I was like, I need this now because I have to drive my car. It's hot outside, I don't feel like recording anything really, because I'm exhausted. Yeah, the next clip that you're gonna see is just probably me starting up the car, me giggling a little bit because the car makes cool noises, and then we'll end the video there. So this next clip should be a video of the car starting up with the new downpipes installed. All right, here we go, first startup. So that was the car. Made the car much louder, pretty cool. The clip that you just saw was not the actual cold start, and for people who don't know what a cold start is basically when you haven't driven your car for like 3 to 4 hours, everything in your car kind of cools down, like your coolant, your oil, all your fluids are pretty cool. And so what a cold start does, it kind of kickstarts your car to get the fluids going through the car. So like you got the motor, you have all your pipes that go to the motor, everything that needs fluid. And so what a cold start does is it kind of like kickstarts your car. It makes it very loud in the beginning. Even if you drive a normal car, you'll realize when you start the car in the morning, your engine will kind of rev up a little higher and longer than, say, you turning on a car from going into a grocery store and coming back out. So when you start the car, it'll usually stay at like 2,000 RPMs and then drop down back to like, you know, 800, 600, whatever your car idles at. And so usually with sports cars or cars that are modified, your cold start will typically be louder because people think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. But my car, that video you just saw was not a cold start. That was because I had started the car just to see if it was working. Because I'm gonna throw in a clip also where I try to cold start it, or I try to start the car after installing the BM3 tune, and basically I thought I bricked my DME, which means I thought I destroyed the computer, because with, you know, newer technology these days in these cars, it is very sensitive, and some of these require a thing called a bench unlock, and what that does, it basically allows people to modify their cars all the way down to what the computer does. And luckily, I thought I did need it because I thought I crashed it, but actually the battery was just dead. But it's weird because you could still use the car in accessory mode and diagnostic mode, but the car won't start. And it all makes sense because the car was sitting for 2 days now, since Wednesday. Basically what the car did was it died because I spent like 5 minutes in, or maybe like 10 minutes in accessory mode just installing this tune. I had a trickle charger connected, but it wasn't enough. Basically what cars like are to be driven or to be turned on, and the reason for that is so your alternator can get going. And your alternator, what it does, it basically stores energy into your car, or battery into your car. So like, say you don't drive it for a week and the car was turned off the whole time, it knows what time it is. It just keeps the car alive. You think the battery's not on, but technically something's going, and what keeps your car to know like what day it is, to recognize you unlocking the key with your fob, is your alternator that basically charges your battery. Newer cars are weird. Apparently you could still use the car, you could turn it on, but not like all the way on with the engine. But the car won't turn on all the way with the engine because the battery is like, I'm gonna die, so let's not die all the way, basically. So I had a friend jump start, and long story short, started the car, let it ran for like 35 minutes, turned the car off, and then I recorded that GTS startup, which was that kind of, it's like a cold start, but it's forced into the car because of the computer. So it does that little roar and then it chills. But yeah, it sounds cool. And hopefully next, I don't know if we'll do an intake, a cold air intake, which honestly the only one that everyone recommends is a MST intake, or we could do a drop-in filter, which is literally like 1/10 of the cost. We'll see what the balance is like, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video of my new car, and have a good one.